What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and this is a pretty spicy update in what had seemed to be a story that was ready to get brushed away because, of course, it wasn't a evil Trump supporter or something like that. But now, apparently, a California man in his 20s has been named as an accomplice in what happened in Madison just a few days ago, apparently helping plan the whole thing. This is bonkers. I did not expect this. I really didn't. But apparently, according to, PD, there is ample evidence of it. I do want to shout out my sponsor, metapcs.com. I know there's probably not time before Christmas yet, but if you're in the market for a new computer, promo code Quartering. They have pre-built computers. You can custom build. They have financing, all that kind of good stuff. Promo code Quartering. It's the only computer I use, both mobily and at my desktop. So Natalie Rupnow's accomplice, Alexander Pfaffendorf, 20, unmasked, as PD reveal how he helped her plot the whole thing. Now, I don't know, what kind of, what kind of crime this is. I suspect he will be arrested and charged with something. The California man, now I'm sure this is going to be news to her boyfriend, was been accused of plotting the coordinated incident in Wisconsin. Alexander Pfaffendorf, 20, of Carlsbad, Florida, was detained by the FBI on suspicion of plotting to coordinate this event at an undisclosed government building. I assume that means the school. I don't know. Pfaffendorf admitted to agents that he had actually been messaging her about the going into a government building, according to court documents made public Wednesday. A San Diego judge issued a restraining order Tuesday under California's red flag laws, which are illegal, but anyway, against Pfaffendorf, requiring him to surrender any firearms and ammo to police within 48 hours and prohibited him from acquiring more. Shortly after, neighbors said they saw more than a dozen police cars enter the apartment complex where he lives on Tuesday night and saw officers coming out of the building carrying what is described as a black box. I'm assuming a lockbox. The order doesn't say what building he had targeted or that he had planned to launch, how he had planned to launch his attack. It also detailed his interactions with Rupnow, except to state that the man was plotting a similar event with her. He appears to live at the property raided by PD with his father. Address records reveal. A court hearing for Pfaffendorf is scheduled for January 3rd. The 20-year-old seemingly maintained a low profile online with DailyMail.com, finding no social media accounts associated with his name. Just like that guy, the Trump guy, huh? But he had some cell phones in the floor that, golly gee willikers, the FBI will just never be able to break. He is also, quote, touchy about getting his photo taken, according to a Facebook post from an account apparently linked to his father. It was not immediately clear how he knew Rupnow. The Madison police chief, I assume they got this off her computer or through Discord conversations or things like that. Daily Mail has approached the FBI, San Diego PD, and San Diego Superior Court for comment. PD are still investigating why the kid did what they did at their Christian school. Two other students are still fighting for their lives, by the way, so let's not forget prayers up for them and their families. The student who passed on Monday was identified as a freshman, an avid reader, loved art, singing, and playing keyboard in the family's worship band. Dane County Medical Examiner Wednesday evening identified the teacher, who was 42. Now, many say the teacher was confronting her, trying to stop the incident. Another, if true, heroic moment. West worked as a substitute for 3 years, accepting the position as a school substitute coordinator and being an in-building sub. Lindsay O'Connor, a mother of two survivors, suggested that the regular study hall teacher who was not there due to a planned absence, may have been Natalie's target, though her idea had not been verified by PD. We don't know if her target was the original teacher or just kids in the class. She would have had to walk by the door, and the door was open, O'Connor said. Rupnow had 2 weapons with her during the incident, but only used one to carry it out, noting that he does not know how they obtained the weapons. Gee, oh my gosh, I wonder how that's possible. Investigators don't know if anyone else was targeted. People just don't know if they targeted. I don't know if she had planned it that day or if she had planned it a week prior. To me, bringing these things to school to hurt people is planning. So we don't really know what the premeditation was. Now this is the teacher and the student who didn't make it. So prayers up to their families, obviously. This is wild. We're just going to gloss over the fact that there is an accomplice. This is the only other article I could find. This is out of Madison, Wisconsin, local news. Apparently, she was in contact with a man in California who authorities say was planning to do the same thing at a government building. Now, we don't know, was it planned on the same day and that he chickened out? Thankfully, we don't know if he helped her plan, step by step what she carried out. This says police are still investigating why they did what they did. We'll never know what they were thinking that day. I mean, sure, the California man was planning to do the same thing with her, according to police notes in the restraining order. He admitted to the FBI that he told her that he had planned to arm himself and go into a government building, according to the notes. He did not specify which building or when he planned to launch it. It's unclear if the man in custody, if he was in custody Wednesday, we now know he is, by the way. Interesting. So you have basically a situation where 2 people across the country who are unhinged people get together and say they're going to do the same thing. Now, was he all talk? I hope so. Thankfully, here's the interesting thing. If it weren't for the first girl getting caught or doing what she did, we may never had known about this other guy, and he may have been able to carry out his attack when that might be. When that might be, what he might plan. Was he supposed to go and do the same incident? Here you say, Barnes told, we've been trying to be transparent as possible to give as much information as we can during the critical phase. Cameron Olden, a former police spokesperson in California, whose company provides communication training for law enforcement, said she advises departments to give routine updates with factual information after these type of incidents and avoid unnecessarily delaying the release of information. She said that communication errors can cause frustration in the community, undermine the public's trust, and compound the underlying tragedy. Well, yeah, obviously. The interesting thing here is, Paul Bucher, former Waukesha County District Attorney, which is where I live, by the way, who was involved in a number of high-profile cases, said the media has unrealistic expectations about how quickly officials should release information in high-profile incidences. His cases have included prosecuting former Green Bay Packers tight end star Mark Chmura for being a moron in the year 2000 and being a part of a team that dealt with an incident at a church gathering in Brookfield 2005. I remember that. That was brutal too. The government is fed up with the media. He said they have no obligation to disclose anything to you at all. Based on the mayor's statement, this is not y'all's business. And that's pretty indicative of how they've had it. Well, it certainly is the public's business. And when you have prosecutors, you have government officials coming out and saying that it's not our business, I take big umbrage with that. I take a lot of umbrage with that, to be totally honest with you. It absolutely is the public's business. Every shred of evidence is the public's business. And the fact that there was an accomplice who was, literally 3,000 miles away proves why it's important that you get this information out to the public, because people need to be informed if they're in danger or if there are things going on that, they need to be aware of, to, keep themselves safe. So as this situation continues to develop, I will continue to update you and keep you, in the know. Locally here, it's still leading every news report. I know the mainstream media has moved on, but the families of these two individuals, they will never move on. And it's unfortunate, this kid too, a 15-year-old kid, seemingly never had a chance at life, was in therapy. I know it's not, it's easy to not feel bad for them based on what they did, but it's also, I think, important that we understand that a lot of people were affected by this. A lot of people, there were so many failures along the way that this country continues to ignore a mental health crisis that they just try to pill away. They try to cram pills on everybody and think it's going to go away. And that's quite frankly not doing any good. I suspect we'll find out this kid was probably on SSRIs. This other kid in California was probably in therapy and on SSRIs. Whatever this therapy industry is that exists, it clearly isn't working. It's not helping people. And until we get serious and we talk about that, this stuff's just going to continue to happen. I really hope you have a safe and happy rest of your day. I've got several other videos for you, obviously, but I also have about a foot of snow to deal with outside, so I've got that going on. I hope you're informed by this video. If you were, please leave a like on it and subscribe down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.